Now we're recording, yeah? Yeah. Alright. What is going on YouTube? I'm back. I'm back on YouTube. So this channel was originally for gaming YouTube. I used to game a pretty good amount with the boys. I still do, but I don't really record a lot. Just takes a lot of time to edit, make the videos funny and entertaining. So I stopped doing that, but kind of got the itch to come back to YouTube. Come back to YouTube with powerlifting focus. So I don't know how often I'll be posting. It might be like once a week, maybe once a month. I don't know. I mean, I have a long stretch of nothing going on until nationals, which I'll talk about. But yeah, content might be kind of hit and miss, but we'll see. I don't know. I got a camera, I got a microphone. I'll make a video, and if y'all want to watch, y'all can watch. So the whole point of this video was just to kind of introduce the channel. I'll hop into some of the Raleigh and NAPF stuff that happened recently. They were both fantastic meets. They were very close to each other, so there was some difficulty in getting the body ready for NAPF, but we'll talk about that. But let's hop into Raleigh. Let's focus on Raleigh right now. So SBD Raleigh was a meet pretty much for second place finishers at nationals. So at Powerlifting American Nationals was in Reno, Nevada, in March of this year. And the winner of nationals goes to worlds. Everyone pretty much knows that. But the second place finisher really doesn't have much going on, so it kind of sucks. It's kind of like if you're not first place in Powerlifting America, you are the same as last place. So that's kind of why some people aren't coming from the USAPL to Powerlifting America, because if you're not like a top 2 or 3 athlete in your weight class, there's really not much going on for you. But SBD and I don't know if I'll say the IPF or what, but the organization is trying to fix that problem, which was done by SBD Raleigh. So SBD Raleigh was, if you are selected to the Worlds team, you cannot do SBD Raleigh. So pretty much second place finishers got the invite to SBD Raleigh. So, and if you're living on a rock and don't know what it is, it's kind of like Sheffield. If you don't know what Sheffield is, that's on you. But it's a meet based on percentage to American record. Sheffield is percentage to a world record. So I was one of 12 male athletes competing. There was 12 women as well. But all 12 of us were competing against each other. We were all seeing who could get the highest percentage of their own relative American record. So I was the 120 kg weight class. My record was in the 970s. There was 266 kilo lifters. Their record was like 715 or something like that. So different records, but different weight classes. But we're all competing to see who can get the highest. The expectation was around 100% would get you in podium. But there was a couple guys who we could see going over 100%, and we'll get into that. But that's just the gist of how the scoring system works and how I got to the meet in the first place. So it was an invite-only meet based on my performance from Powerlifting America Nationals. So we'll hop into kind of like why I did it, what my goals were, things leading up to it. So I did it because I didn't have anything else going on. I came in second at Nationals. I lost to Bob Matthews, so he went to Worlds. I was really doing nothing until I got this invite. So invite to SBD Raleigh. I accepted it. Looked like a fun meet. The roster was pretty insane. The caliber of lifters was very, very high. So I said yes. I was excited for it. Just another meet to do. This was July 27th. Nationals was like March 17th, maybe something like that. So it was like a 6 month. I'm mathing right now. 5 or 6 months after Nationals. Was it 5 or 6 months? I don't know. A good amount of time after Nationals. So it was just, there's really no reason for me to say no to this meet. So there were prizes. Top 3 got money. I think first place was $3,500. Second place was $1,500, and then third was $1,000. That's for men and women. So the goal was to win some money. Why not? Place top 3. There was also a goal of like totaling $1,000, totaling above the American record total and world record total, benching the world record. All those things were kind of secondary goals because this was technically a local meet. So no world records or American records, even state records, nothing could be set here. It's just a local meet just for fun, a little bit of money for some of the top lifters at nationals who didn't get an invite to worlds. So while I hyped it up, I said I was total 1,000. That was never really the goal and wasn't really realistic. The goal was just to place high, do well, win some money, have some fun. Most importantly, having fun. This is a really cool meet because a lot of lifters here usually compete at nationals or worlds or some like really high level meet to where their performance really matters for what will come for them in the next 6 months or so with their powerlifting career. This meet really meant nothing in a good way. You couldn't set records, you couldn't earn a spot to Sheffield, really, you couldn't earn yourself a primetime spot at nationals or something. There wasn't much to earn here except a couple $1,000. So it was a nice low stress meet for a lot of people. So my goal was really just to go in there, have a good meet, and have some fun. Another cool thing about this meet was I was going to compete against Dennis Cornelius. He is the current IPF world record total holder in my weight class. So there was some excitement leading up to that of me going head to head with him and seeing if I could beat him at a local meet. It wouldn't really mean much in the grand scheme of things, but going up against the current IPF world record holder would be a pretty cool thing to do. So that unfortunately did not work out. I believe Dennis got injured at his last training session. So he ended up pulling out like a day or two before the meet actually happened. So that's really unfortunate. That really sucks. No one wants to see anyone get hurt, and no one wants to see that head-to-head match get postponed, or maybe it may never happen. It's pretty unlikely actually for it to happen unless he does open nationals, which I don't think he plans on doing. So very unfortunate, but that did not happen. So with all that jibber jabber out of the way, let's hop into how the meet actually went. So I'll throw up the meet on the screen as I kind of go through it myself here as well. I guess we can real quick talk about training into this meet. Training was pretty good, not really much injury. If you followed me at all, you know my knee. I have my left knee. I got like patellar tendonitis or tendinosis, whatever the official term is. I've had that problem for a long time. It really ain't going away. But me and my coach Mikey, we've done pretty good at managing it, so it's not getting worse and it's not really inhibiting progress. Just kind of slowing down squat progress a little bit. So we opened up at 305 kilograms. It moved pretty well. Really no complaints about that. I think the plan was to jump 25 to 30 kilos after that. I like taking relatively big jumps on the first to second on squat because I'm not really good for like 3 back-to-back 700-pound plus squats yet. So I'd rather take a pretty light opener and then just jump like, I prefer like 30 kilos, but I think we jumped 25 here. Yeah, 25 to 330. 25 is cool with me. It's still a decent jump. So my opener really didn't like damage my knee or anything, and it moved real well. So we took the jump. 330 is 727. This also moved pretty well. Yeah, a little sticky in the middle, but really can't complain about how that moved. There was a chance we go like 335 in a second and try to go 345, but we talked together after this. It was a little stickier than expected, so we just went for the gym PR match on the platform, which is 340. We were just trying to keep pace really for a top 3 podium spot. We knew being roughly around 100% would get us at least the ability to like pull a final deadlift to secure a podium spot. So we just went somewhat conservative at 340. I hit it in the gym, so I have a lot of confidence once I hit something in the gym that I can hit on the platform. So we took it for a third, took it down to the hole, dunked it. Pretty sticky. But I lost my mind, got it up. I gotta stop doing the the rage, man. I really get into my head and like I tell myself like if I don't get this, bad things are gonna happen. Like I have to get this squat. If I don't, bad things are gonna happen. It's a little ridiculous. It's kind of emotionally draining too, but it's worked. It's worked the past 2 times. I think I'm gonna try to control myself better, just to not have another variable of like height be a part of my squats. But I hit a platform PR, 5 kilogram PR, 750 pounds. I'm not a squatter, so 750 pounds is a-okay with me. I'm happy with that. So move on to bench. Opened at 240. It's like 530 pounds. This is pretty lightweight for me. I've hit it a billion times, and I've opened at my last like 1 or 2 meets around here. So absolutely no problem with this on the opener. The right arm was like a little laggy. That Mikey actually pointed that out, but I didn't really feel it. It was just kind of something that happened. So I think we planned on jumping 15, which is 15 is a pretty big jump for bench, 15 kg. So, but it moved well, so we went ahead and did that. That puts us at 255. Even at 255, this wasn't much of like a, am I gonna hit or miss this? It's a pretty conservative second attempt. This would just kind of give us a gauge of what is there for our third attempt. But pauses were, I think pauses were pretty fair. It actually looks pretty quick. Some people were saying the pauses were kind of long from the head refs. I actually have a certified referee who trains at my gym. I actually have her do my pauses for me for like heavy singles during prep. So she'll give me commands, and she is, I think people would say her pauses are long. I think she's pretty fair, but it really set me up for these quote unquote long pauses. They didn't really give me any trouble. So shout out to Melissa. She trains at Circle City with me and keeps me honest with my pauses, so this wasn't much of a problem. So 255 felt good, moved fine. We jumped 7.5 to 262.5. As you see, it was a very uneven. I felt like I got it. I got up looking like a douchebag, pointing double gun fingers at 3 red lights. So I thought I had it in my brain while I was benching. It felt fine. It moved smooth. I didn't feel it dip at all, but my coach said I clipped the rack. I don't think I clipped the rack. I don't think I bumped a spot or anything. It felt good. I don't know. I think my wrist like caved in for a second, and that made the bar dip ever so slightly. I have no idea why my wrist caved. It's 580 pounds, I guess. You know, if you don't grip it perfectly, you're gonna have some mistakes. So that sucked. I really wish I would have got 3 for 3 on bench there, but it felt good. I didn't fail it on strength. It was 7.5 kilos, which we lost on our total, which kind of sucks, but that's just how it went. That's how it went. I missed it. I think it was the right call. I don't really think we should have went any lower or higher. It was a pretty good call. So ended up missing it on a technicality, but it at the end of the day, it really didn't matter because of how deadlifts went, but we'll go into that now. In terms of like strategy going into deadlifts, it's kind of hard to do strategy in a meet like this when literally 11 other people are like doing stuff at the same time. So you can't really try to like hone in on 1 or 2 people. So we opened at 340, moved easy. We took a relatively light opener just to get on the board. And then we had to kind of keep an eye out on what other people were doing, what they were pacing for, to see what we'd have to load for our third. But even at this point, like we have to hit our second and then worry about it. So we threw in 362.5. This is really just an arbitrary number to put in. This won't really tax my body much, but it'll give us an extra 20 kilos in our total, so we can pull a third. That's not a ridiculous jump. But at this point, this puts us in third place, which is a good spot to be. Obviously, top 3 is what we wanted. There was some grip problems on this, you'll see. So I get it up pretty well, but at the top, my right side, the left side of the screen, it like dips a little bit. I thought I would get actually a red or maybe 2 reds here. But I've been using some, let me pause this. A company reached out to me. They're called Chalkless Grip or something like that. It's pretty much just chalk, but there's no like white powder that gets on your clothes. So I tried it out. I actually liked it quite a bit. It dries the hell out of your hands, so you have really good grip. But I used it here. On my opener, I felt my grip slip a little bit, so I used it here. My grip slipped, so I tried putting chalk over top of my chalkless powder. It didn't work. It did not work at all. That felt horrible. That felt way harder than it should have, and my thumbs tore quite a bit. So between my second attempt and my third attempt, I went to the bathroom, washed my hands completely, and then reapplied just plain chalk. And then we'll see how that goes. All right, so let's go here. Oh, let's talk about this guy. So I'm gonna pause right here. So I'll put on the screen, I guess. I don't know. There's this dude in a suit. Why are you wearing a suit at a powerlifting meet? Look professional. I don't know. I get it. All right. He is in charge of telling us when to go on the platform. So the head ref will say bars loaded. Everyone knows that, and then you go out and lift your weight. This guy was just an extra layer of protection. I don't know, but for some reason, like we're standing right next to him, 2 feet away from him in the back, and he's just the guy who tells us to go out. He was shouting "go" at a billion decibels. We are 24 inches away from this man. I don't understand why he was yelling so loud. Actually, during bench, he yelled so loud it made me laugh before going out to bench. Shout out to this guy taking his job super serious. Very funny. I had to point that out. All right, so we load. Okay, so at this point, we're at our third deadlift. I think we're like the second to last deadlift or something like that. No one deadlifting after us actually matters. They don't have a good enough total to actually kick us off podium or anything like that. So right now, I believe it's Joe Bornstein's in first place with like a crazy total. He broke the world record unofficially. I think 865. We're not. That's like 101%. We're not doing that. We're like 20 kilos under that right now. So it'd be like a 380, 385 pull. We ain't doing that. Second place was Dan Clements. Everyone expected him to unofficially break the American record, which he did, but like just barely. So it was like 100.0 or 100.5%. So Joe beat him on his pull. Clements is currently in second, and then Dom Fuqua is in third. I think he's at like 98% or something like that. We can beat him is pretty much what I'm saying. All we had to do was go up 2.5 kilos from our second attempt. It gave us an extra 0.5% or something. It was enough to get us into third and get us $1,000 locked in. And we could look at Clements or Bornstein, but it would be like I said, like a 385 pull. I don't feel like doing that. I probably don't have it in me at the time. So we took the conservative route, jumped 2.5 kilos. Let's fast forward to me actually pulling it. I washed my hands off. I got regular chalk on, and this moved a lot better than my second attempt. There's no surprise here. This should have moved just fine. This is 804. I pulled 825 or something like that in the gym. So it was a relatively conservative third attempt, but just enough to do what we got to do, and it gave us the win. Mikey's just like, shit, man, your second looked awful. So we had to do what we had to do. So, all right, that's enough of Raleigh. Man, I'm out here yapping. So Raleigh went good. It was fun. Like I said, low stress meet, money on the line. That is it. Nothing else in the line. So super low stress. It was the most fun I think I had in the meet. They took care of the athlete. SBD took care of the athletes, so they paid for flights and hotel, and there was no like registration fee. So shout out to SBD. Shout out to Pete Spence. I know he was involved heavily in the meet. Probably most importantly, shout out to Meg Powell. She was the meet director of the whole thing. I don't really know what goes in the meet directing, but I'm sure it is a ton of work. So that meet was, I mean, I really heard almost zero complaints about the meet. So shout out to her. Fantastic meet. Very honored to be selected and be a part of it. Blessed to do so. So big shout out to Meg. SBD Raleigh was awesome. Going out to like the bars afterwards with all the athletes was fun. I think I had a bet with Angelo of who would drink more beers. I did like a water cut / gut cut / fast, so my stomach was pretty shrunk. So I think I drank like 2 beers and I was tapped out. So Angelo won. I owe him something. I don't know, like probably like a beer or something. But it was fun. SBD Raleigh was awesome. Low stress meet, ton of fun. But earlier I mentioned if you come in second at nationals, you pretty much have nothing going on for you. That's only partially true. There is something called NAPF, North American Powerlifting Federation. They hold the North American Powerlifting Championships. It's somewhere. So NAPF encompasses North America and Central America. It's the IPF. Everyone knows what the IPF is, the biggest drug-tested federation. They have 6 regions, and North America and Central America fall into one. If you're familiar with Euros, there's something called the European Championships. It's a whole bunch of European nations come together and they compete. It's a pretty popular thing. A lot of like world champions will do it. So that's why it's popular. North Americans, NAPF is the same thing, but for North America and Central America. It's not popular because no one does it. I don't know why. I guess there's not a whole lot you can do other than set world records. That's not the craziest thing, I guess, but it was enough for me to go there. That's why I went there. There was the ability to set world records. My goal was to go there and set the bench world record. I hit the bench world record, I think, like 2 or 3 times in competition by this point. My current American record from nationals was higher than the world record, so it was a cool opportunity to go and cement that and make it an official world record. yeah, so that's what it is and why I did it. And I think I mentioned second place at nationals gets the invite to North Americans. I don't know if there's a rule where if you go to Worlds you can do North Americans, but I know that was a rule for SBD Raleigh. But I mentioned the problem with Powerlifting America is if you're not first, you're pretty much last. This year was nice. If you're in second or even third, you can go to North Americans. And this year SBD Raleigh popped up. So there was a couple things that happened, which is fantastic to see. I don't know who to credit. SBD obviously put some money into the meet. But having SBD Raleigh happen is good for any athlete who's maybe on the fence about coming to the IPF side of things, aka Powerlifting America, because there is more going on than just Worlds. If you're not first, you're not necessarily last anymore. You might be second or third, and that's good enough to do some cool things. So that's the gist of NAPF. Got to mention that NAPF was August 9th. SBD Raleigh was July 27th. That is 13 days apart. No one does this. No one's supposed to. You're not supposed to do this. As a powerlifter, you should take like 3 months off between competitions. But they were both like invite-only meets, sort of. So I wanted to do both. I wanted to go set a world record. I wanted to represent Team USA for the first time. It's definitely a privilege. It's an honor. Not everyone gets to do that. So I really couldn't say no. But I obviously adjusted my expectations for what I could do at North Americans. I was obviously not going to be 100%. I kept being delusional that maybe I will just be strong in the day and take a shot at the total world record, but that did not happen, and that's okay. I kind of knew that wasn't going to happen, but the whole point was to go and take a shot at the bench world record and take a pretty good shot at it, and then see if we could push that up. So we'll hop into it. We will still cover, we'll go through squat, bench, deadlift, and then kind of yap about how it was, and then talk about what might be coming to Big Dev YouTube. All right, here we are. Okay, so like I mentioned, not 100%. Opened relatively light at 300. I don't even know if I want to say relatively light. This this was pretty heavy. Opened at 300 kilos. Squat was probably the biggest question mark on how my legs were going to be on the day. Cutting weight really wasn't tough for either of these meets. I sit at like 122 kg. I compete at 120. It's like a water cut and a gut cut away from being where I need to be. So we opened relatively light. Bar speed wasn't bad. You see me kind of smile at the top. The announcer's like, "Oh, that must have been easy." He's smiling. No, it was not easy. I actually like cramped in my calf, which was weird, and I fell forward a tiny bit. Yeah, you can kind of see it there. So 300 kilos for me, it's a decent squat. I'm not a great squatter, so not bad, but it definitely could have moved better. If you compare that to my 305 from Raleigh opener, it's a night and day difference. So definitely wasn't feeling the best on squats, but we hit 300. After I hit 300, I pretty much knew I wasn't taking a third attempt. I just didn't have the strength to even attempt anything too high. So jumped sort of high. 20 kilos is not the biggest jump for a big squatter, or at least a heavyweight squatter. But I knew I wasn't taking a third, so I just kind of put all my chips in a basket, or however that saying goes, and just took 320. I knew I had it. Like, the strength wasn't really a question. It was just kind of like, is my quad going to tear off the bone? So that thankfully didn't happen. Everything felt okay. It took 320. It felt better than the opener in terms of like control, but obviously it slowed down quite a bit. At this point, well, I guess I should say, no one was really in contention to beat me. So I did want to win overall. So I had to at least squat and deadlift something reasonable. Actually, I went out for my third and just said, "What's up, high fives." That dude like RKO'd me. I don't know what that was. But I knew no one was really going to beat me as long as I do something reasonable on squat and deadlift. So there was really no need for me to go for a third. My coach actually was texting me during this, and right after my second, he said, "Just jump 5 keys." And I said, "How about I scratch instead?" So he was cool with that. That's what we did. Now the bread and the butter, the fun part, bench. So opening at 240.5, 0.5s, that's chip. If anyone is not familiar with powerlifting and you're watching this video, I don't know why you are, but a chip is something you can do on records. You can normally only jump 2.5, but you can jump 0.5 if you're hitting a record. This is a NAPF record. Didn't even know they have those, but I was able to chip it. I normally open at 240, so it's 240.5. Moved perfectly fine as expected. Bench felt pretty good. Obviously not 100% from just competing and benching 550 plus 3 times, but felt okay in the day. So that moved just fine. I got a cool little butt camera angle here. So the plan the whole time was to open at the North American record and then jump to the world record. The world record's relatively low in comparison to what I can do. It is 253 held by Dennis, or it was 253 held by Dennis. So we jumped to 253.5. Again, we could chip it because it was a record. Also, shout out to Rodney. I don't think I mentioned him. He's the head coach for like the North American team. Chill dude, cool dude, really easy to work with. We had the game plan set up, me and my coach, so he was pretty relaxed with any calls that I made. So world record, second attempt. Felt good, felt relatively light in the hands. The press commands were fair, no wobbling, 3 white lights. Finally, a official world record bench press holder. Felt good, but we didn't expect our second attempt to really be that tough. So the goal was just to hit this on the second and then kind of get an idea when we're gonna go for the third. Based off of that, maybe people say jump like 10 keys or something like that, which I think is about what I had. I ended up jumping, I don't know, what was it, 253.5 to 261. The reason I went to 261 is 260.5 is my current American record, so I wanted to chip that just to give me a new world record. Just to increase the world record more than what it was, and to give myself a new platform PR. I've hit 265 in the gym, but gym is not the same as platform. So we took 261. Took 261, felt good in the hands. Good press command, fast off the chest, a little wobbly, just like Raleigh, but this time there was no downward movement. Well, actually I did get called for downward movement by one ref, 2 to 1. I didn't really celebrate after this because I was kind of thinking the jury would overturn it because it felt like it dipped, but looking back, it was like a ladder. It didn't really dip, but yeah, 261. That is the new 120 kg world record. Pretty happy with that. Pretty satisfied. It's about what I had on the day. If I was a little fresher, maybe I could take a shot at like 265, something like my gym bench PR, but simply was not there on the day. But we took the world record twice and added like 8 kilos to it. I'm not upset with that. I'm quite happy with that. Moved well. Not much more to say. It's been a long time coming, I guess. I've been trying to. I guess I've been keeping my eyes open to opportunities to officially set it, because I think I've hit above it. Hit it at Memphis Nationals and then Powerlifting American Nationals, and hit it at Raleigh too. So I've hit it at least 3 times before officially setting it. So cool to officially set it, but we do have to finish out deadlifts to make it official. So again, I'm not really competing with anyone. Opened at 332.5. That number gave us the NAPF total record. That's why we chose it. Kind of an arbitrary number, but puts our name into another record book. So took that. One thing I haven't mentioned, I got squat silver because I squatted 320, did take a third, and someone else also squatted 320, but they were slightly less than me. I weighed in at 119.9, just what I needed to be at 120. So kind of a bummer getting squat silver. I should have got squat gold. I got bench gold, obviously, bench world record. And now at this point, I realized I got squat silver. So I'm like, all right, I'm getting deadlift gold. I'm not letting someone out deadlift me. So I went at 332.5. At 345 is, this was just above what the person who could get deadlift gold, this was just above what he did. So I took this just to get myself back into deadlift gold position. And then we'll see how this goes real quick. 345 is a pretty easy number. This is really like opener territory, but I feel like garbage in the day, and I didn't really need to go heavy, so hit it pretty easy. That puts us back in deadlift gold. the guy who could take deadlift gold loaded 350, took like a 10 kilo jump, and his second was not easy. So if he hit that, we loaded 352.5 to get us back in deadlift gold. He did not hit that, so we did not take our third attempt. I got deadlift gold my second attempt. At this point, I should be happy-go-lucky, done with the meet, got golds and world records. But there was a junior lifter, Joseph McDonald. Yes, Joseph McDonald. He went nuts on the day. I think he took the junior bench record maybe. And then he was on his third deadlift. He took the deadlift record on his second attempt, pushed it up 22 and a half more kilos on his third attempt. And that number was to give him the IPF junior world record total. That's a pretty big deal. A total, obviously an open total world record is better, but as a junior, hitting a world record is pretty nuts. So I got deadlift gold from the other guy, but my ego was hurt from getting squat silver. So I told Rodney, I said, hey, if this dude pulls this, load 367.5, which is the only number I can do, the closest number I can do above this. One, I don't want to get outpulled by a junior, and two, he would out total me if he hit this. So I told him, I got some juice in the tank. I paid money to come out to Arizona to do this. Let's go out for a third pull and establish our dominance. Obviously not that cringy, but kind of what I said. So I'm in the background of this guy getting ready. This dude was a character. He was a fun dude to watch. I'm in the background watching him. He's getting hyped up, about to go attempt to break a junior world record. His second attempt was kind of sticky, so I thought this was a bit of a optimistic jump, but he brought the juice. So as you can see, we'll let it roll. I mean, he kind of smoked it. Lockout's super sticky, but it's pretty clean. He gets it. He's celebrating. Just a fun dude to be around, and like the entire country of Trinidad and Tobago are there for some reason. It's just a super cool moment to watch. I try to dap him up, but he's just on top of the world. So he got it. So what I said was I would go out and pull slightly more so I don't get outpulled by a junior and out-totaled by a junior. The moment was super, super cool. Watching him do that, celebrate with all his friends and supporters. I decided I'm not gonna do it. One, because it would actually be pretty tough. 367.5 is, I mean, not my top end, but it'd be a tough RP9 pull. But two, that was a cool moment. That was a super cool moment. I did not want to go out and ruin that. So ended up just scratching that, which I think is the right call. No need to be a douchebag and go out pull a junior just because your ego got hurt. So little fun side story as to why my numbers kept changing on my third deadlift. So that is Raleigh and North Americans. They were good meets. They were fun. Raleigh was awesome. North Americans was a good time to set a world record. Shout out to SBD, Avansis, my coach Mikey, Coach Rodney from the NAPF team, Pete Spence. Shout out to all those folks and companies for helping me out. Powerlifting is really just a hobby, so it's cool that it's growing to be something a little more serious, and I appreciate all the help. And obviously shout out to all my friends and family who reach out, watch the stream, tell me good luck. I appreciate y'all. It's fun. I'm glad I can put on a bit of a show for you, and yeah, thank you guys. So really two things to mention as to what's next. Well, one, it's not really what's next, but the bench world record, 261, sort of low still. I'm definitely capable of more than that. And spoiler, a lot of people probably don't know this, Rondell Hunt benched 262.5, I believe, slightly more than my world record, at Memphis Nationals in 2023. Now, he was just kind of balling out in the day. I was a little cooked from Raleigh, so North Americans, my world record wasn't 100%. I can make excuses, but another person in a legitimate federation benched more than my current world record. So definitely got work to do on moving that to something more respectable, but happy with what I did, but I know I still got work to do because of that man from Trinidad. Next on the list is really just nationals. Powerlifting American Nationals. My next big competition, my next opportunity to earn my spot to Worlds, which is really the main goal, become a world champion. The biggest hurdle, the biggest obstacle is going to be Bob Matthews, just like it was last year. That's what it seems like it's going to be. There might have been a situation where Bob goes 105 at Sheffield, and he ends up like restraining how much weight he can gain, and then doesn't come into nationals as strong, or doesn't come to nationals at all because he just did Sheffield. It seems like, from what we've heard, he is going to not do Sheffield and do nationals instead. So if he does that, Bob is obviously a super strong lifter. If he's trying to gain weight for the next 8 months, he will likely come in a lot stronger than he was last year. So definitely a tall task. Do I think I have a chance of beating him? Absolutely. By no means is he so much stronger than me where I have no chance. So I will be training for the next 8 months to get as strong as I can. I think I've been saying 1,000 kilos for like the past meet or two. I think it's realistic. If I'm not at that point, progress is not good. 8 months from now, if I could put it all together and gain 2 or 3% strength, 1,000 kg should be there. I think Bob will be there as well. So it's not like if I get there, I win. We both should be there. So it's going to be a fun prep, a fun 8 months of working towards this goal, and we'll see what we can do when the time comes. But it looks like it will be a rematch of Big Dev versus Bob Matthews Part 2 at the next Powerlifting American Nationals, which we don't know the exact date or location. We believe it's sometime in early April, so about 8 months from now. So that's next. Like I said at the beginning of the video, Big Dev's on YouTube. I don't know how often I'll post. I will bring my camera to the gym, obviously, and record training and stuff like that. Have different topics on like equipment, technique. Probably won't do like comedy skits. That's really not my thing, but just try to do some lifestyle content, keep y'all in the loop. Just have some fun filming videos, and we'll see where it goes, but don't expect anything. I don't know what I'll give. Maybe I'll give a video a week, maybe once a month, maybe twice a week. I don't know. But I think that's about it. Raleigh was fun. NAPF was fun. Big Dev's on YouTube. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. This was my gaming channel, so some of you might already be subscribed. Training until nationals. That's about it. I don't have a good outro. Praise God. Just get stronger. Catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.